Hey guys, this is Deteki, and we are back in another episode of the Civ 5 Largest Nations AI game that I've been running on the channel for you guys. So just a quick recap of what happened. Last time we saw Nigeria completely demolished by a combination of the Turks here, who are played by the Ottomans, and the Japanese. The Japanese have proceeded to obliterate the Philippines' holdings. I couldn't talk for a second. The Philippines' holdings in North America, and they managed to kind of poise themselves around Jakarta, and Manila is looking very exposed. In fact, everybody, it's better to just show you the info addict. So here are the current wars going on. Thailand is currently at war with India and Mexico. France is at war with India and the Congo, which is interesting because there's this one huge African war going on. The United Kingdom is currently at war with the Philippines. As you guys can see here, they actually sort of have Cebu sort of surrounded. Venice isn't at war with anybody because that's us. No one knows we exist. China and the United States and the Philippines are all at war with Russia. Japan's currently waging a war against the Turks, the Philippines, and the Congo. Mexico is at war with Thailand and the Philippines. Everybody hates the Philippines. Ethiopia is at war with the Philippines and Germany. All useless wars as they can't get to anybody. And yeah, that's what's going on in this world. So this is going to be the turn 300 today. We did one extra turn last time, which means, of course, we do one less turn this time. So far, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, the United States has Minutemen. They're the first ones to gunpowder units. Now, the Congo still has a huge military here. However, France has actually gotten to knights, which are very burly. And India is... One moment. Sorry, I've been sick all week, and it still feels like I have like a tickle in the back of my throat. Anyway. So yeah, just looking around, I'm hoping that we can finally get rid of Russia. Again, the Russians, they've been very admirable in this series. But there's no chance of them winning, coming back with one city. Anyway, Jakarta has been captured by Japan. They managed to take it with one of their samurai, who are, again, very fierce melee units. They have increased damage, and of course, combined with Japan's unique ability, which means that they do full damage even when they're injured, it means that they're just wrecking machines with giant swords. Let's see the declaration here. Great Britain has publicly denounced Germany, so the United Kingdom has denounced Germany. Fethiye still continues to fall, slowly but surely, to the Mexicans. If the British, again, declared war on them, I don't think they're at war with each other. Oh, and they've also founded Manchester here, this shitty little one-tile island. Exactly like what Manchester's like in real life. If there's one sadder place than Liverpool, it's Manchester. Again, I have nothing against these cities, but I just feel like some part of me just wants to shit all over them. Here we see Berlin, further citadeled by Thailand. Thailand still has a very powerful navy, which they haven't sent to Monterey, even though they could probably take that city. Instead, they're kind of fending off the Indians, who are more interested in their war against France than anything. Sao Paulo still hasn't taken a significant amount of damage. The Congo is still sending their navy up to try and retake Elephantine, which is currently blockaded by horsemen. The United States loves their horsemen. They're also the second civilization to reach trebuchets. So, congrats to them. Oh my god, I keep trying to move the map around. It's so weird. I never used to have this problem playing Civ 5. Now, it looks like I can click, but it won't do anything. It won't move the map at all. It's very frustrating to kind of move everything around. Abuja falls lower. The Turks are trying to take it by sending trebuchets and longswordsmen out to sea. A bold strategy. I do not believe it'll work for them. Meanwhile, Manila is slowly being surrounded by samurai. Very terrifying development for them. Look at the difference between their swordsmen and the samurai. You can kind of... The swordsmen here, they're very concerned. These guys have very scary masks. And swords. And Cebu is actually taking a significant amount of damage. St. Petersburg actually takes a bit more damage. What is the likeliest to fall here? Let's keep, we're going to keep an eye on the American Congo War, because I feel like that's the most interesting one. It's a war between two very, very powerful nations. Now, I don't think the United States has the projection to actually take any part of the Congo. So far, however, Washington has also proven to be a master of diplomacy, as his first major win was taking Karachi from Pakistan, even though he wasn't able to take any Pakistani cities. And of course, that led to Pakistan's eventual downfall. Cebu's healing up. Fet's healing up. Everything's quiet on the Eastern Front. Meanwhile, the French Navy proudly defends Lyon against the terrible Indians, even though the French declared the war to begin with. Abuja continues to fall. I would say Jakarta is more or less decisively in Japanese hands. Meanwhile, let's focus on Manila here, because Manila is getting surrounded. Now, the big problem now is that Japan does not have any siege units in the area. They're going to be able to destroy all of the Philippines' military around the city, but without siege units, I don't like their chances of actually taking it. It has hills, it has 35 strength, which is stronger than any of their normal units here. Now, they have a lot of composite bowmen, but I'm not sure the composite bowmen are going to be enough at this stage in the game. Elephantine is slowly healing up. The Congo is really holding back their immense navy. I feel like if they sent their navy north or sent their navy south, they could do a significant amount of damage to Paris. They could take Elephantine back, and they could probably start laying siege to Karachi. There's so much that they could do if their units weren't just sitting there and watching from the sidelines. Ugh, the Congo, you're messing it up. Meanwhile, the United States is making a push for St. Petersburg. Will they be able to take the unconquerable city? I feel like I want to enter into the in-game editor and rename St. Petersburg to Helm's Deep, because right now, no one has managed to take it. They've stood against the three, I shouldn't say the three most powerful, but three of the most powerful militaries in the world, and they haven't been... They've had nothing more than like 2 or 3 composite bowmen defending them at most at all times. Cebu is still going up. Manila actually takes a bit of damage. Let's focus back on Manila. Let's see how much damage they take per turn. I'm gonna guess not a significant amount. And of course, Japan can't even lay siege that turn. Oh! And down to the south, Abuja has been taken by the Ottomans, which is allowing them to push forward to Surabaya. Now, the Surabaya Canal, again, is a very tactical... It's a very necessary city if you want to dominate the Atlantic and the Pacific, as it's essentially the Panama Canal. And what capturing that city means is that if the Ottomans want to get their naval units from one side of the continent to the other, so they defend their southern holdings here, or sorry, not their southern, their western holdings, rather than send it all the way around the tip of Argentina and Chile, they could just push them through here. It's a huge tactical advantage. Not as much of an advantage for Japan, but if they want to expand, they're certainly going to need that in the future, as that's their only way to reach the Pacific, especially with Turkey currently controlling this part of the Atlantic down here. Anyway, Elephantine surges up a bit more, and this little path, this narrow passageway that's been defending Karachi is also kind of a double-edged sword, as the United States currently doesn't have a lot of land to move their massive their massive army across. So the Congo certainly has them beat for naval power. The United States certainly looks stronger militarily just because of their gunpowder units. They're really going to have to start producing those en masse if they want to stay on top. Of course, we're seeing 3 or 4, 5, maybe 6. Yeah, 6 units. So they're getting there, slowly but surely. One of my favorite phrases. And of course, nothing really happens down here in the Mexican-Thai War. France has successfully fended off the Indians. And let's see what happens now. So now Surabaya is under threat from the Turks, who have been a very terrifying force in this game. A poor, lone Japanese trireme is desperately trying to take Abuja back. It's all for naught, though. And the war machine of Turkey pushes forward towards the Surabayan Canal. Japan has some tough decisions to make. Do they really want to push for the capital of the Philippines, or do they want to pivot down and kind of defend their holdings here to the south? If I were them, I would just give up on the Philippines for now. Wait until they have some siege units. Oh, speaking of laying siege to cities, Manchester is under attack by the Philippines. Now, they haven't been able to get to London. London, the second most impenetrable city in this game so far. But Manchester is currently very undefended. And it is surrounded on all sides. Let's see what the Philippines can do in a single round. There we go. Oh, wow. Bringing it down to 45% health, give or take. The United Kingdom is certainly going to have to rally around it. They've managed to eliminate 2 of the boats here. That being said, these 2 triremes might be able to flip the city once. Now, they'll be able to take it back, I believe. But even being able to flip it once is going to bring it down to 1 pop. It's going to be a huge setback, at least temporarily. That sounded a little oxymoronic. It's going to be a huge temporary setback. Anyway, Jakarta is now decisively in Japanese hands, more so than before, as they've eliminated that 1 Filipino trireme trying to take the city. Turkey is slowly but surely moving towards Davao and Surabaya, with a whole mess of melee units just kind of floating out in the Caribbean. It's an interesting strategy, but it's worked for them so far. And of course they have Galileases. Again, a unit I refuse to pronounce correctly. Sao Paulo is being blockaded by the French. Will the Congo move their massive navy here to defend it? Well, they're certainly not moving it north to attack the Americans. So let's see if they'll move it south. And, speaking of the Americans, they currently have crossbowmen now, which is yet another advantage that they have technologically over their allies. Again, I thought Washington was going to be eliminated in the first 50, 100 turns, give or take, just because he was surrounded on all sides by enemies, and usually it's the civs that control the corners that really dominate these games. And Washington has not only managed to go against that initial prediction, he has managed to succeed, exceed, and dominate this competition so far. I would say he is by far the front runner. Of course, that can change all in the blink of an eye. Haven't checked over here yet. Manchester falls ever lower. However, it looks like they've actually cleared out the Filipino Navy. That's good. The Filipinos, they kind of left their mark on Manchester, but was it enough to push for peace with the United Kingdom? Meanwhile, nothing happens down here. So let's push back up and see what developments develop here in Western Europe. Mexico has denounced the People's Republic of China. The Ottomans and the Philippines are now friends. See, it's nice. Everyone's declaring war on the Philippines, but Turkey's still willing to be friends. Turkey's a nice guy. He's a good guy. Went for drinks with him once. And that's actually not good for Japan, because that means they now have an enemy to the... Well, I mean, this is just formalizing it, because they already had an enemy to the north and the south. And now they're really just formal friends, which is never good, but it's not much of a change from their previous development. Anyway, Surabaya is now surrounded. There are forces marching on Davao, which is being defended by a Japanese scout. Waiting for the Turkish Warhammer to come down on them. Surabaya is down to less than half. Again, Turkey has certainly chosen an unorthodox tactic, but it's been working for them. They've already conquered 1 Japanese city. Let's see if they can get another 1 or 2. Meanwhile, the United States is actually sending its navy down south in fruitless attempts to take Kavanger and Loango. I don't think those horsemen or the knights are going to be able to make a difference, Washington. They are kind of pushing for a navy up here, though. Of course, they have a navy over to the east, which is currently being blocked in by Mumbai and Delhi, which they can't even currently get to. Sao Paulo is actually taking a bit of damage as well, which is surprising, because you would have thought that the Congo would be able to rush to their defense. And it looks like Thailand's also got their unique unit, which is the Narosuian elephant. I believe that replaces the knight. So it's basically just a very powerful mounted unit, as one would guess from being an elephant. Manchester is once again under threat by the Filipino Navy. The United Kingdom certainly has some difficult decisions to make. If I were them, I would make peace right now and kind of wait for the moment to strike. And Washington has completed Himeji Castle, which I believe is going to give them even more fighting prowess, becoming even more and more terrifying by the moment. St. Petersburg is down to the yellow thanks to the musketmen. We're going to focus on them because the unconquerable city might actually fall. Ethiopia has now finally got crossbowmen. And it's funny, I was looking around at all the different units, and I actually noticed I saw the Ethiopia has knights. And I was thinking, you know what? Out of all of the civilizations in the world right now, for some reason, Ethiopian knight sounds like the most, like, Ethiopia is not known for its knights. But for some reason, when I think of knight and Ethiopia, they just seem to go together. I can picture a knight from Ethiopia. It's weird. I think it's because ages ago I heard this story about, who's the guy who stabbed the dragon through the mouth with the spear? He was a saint, and they were saying he might have been a crocodile. I remember watching this, like, it was like Monster Quest or something like that, where they were looking for dragons, and they were trying to figure out, these ancient dragons might just have been huge crocodiles. And apparently it's Ethiopia or Kenya. One of them really reveres this saint, because they truly believe that he was actually a local who killed a giant crocodile, who people were sacrificing things to, or something like that. It's been years since I saw it, but because of that, whenever I think of Ethiopian knight, I think of Saint, what's his name? That's Saint Peter. Saint Peter didn't kill any dragons. He was the first pope. I know math. Alright, I kind of want to keep an eye on St. Petersburg. See, this is difficult. Surabaya is about to fall, but if St. Petersburg goes down, I don't want to... Oh, alright, we're going to keep an eye on Surabaya, because I'm guaranteed it's going to go down this turn. I swear to God, if Russia gets eliminated this turn, and we miss it, I'm going to be very upset. There we go. Surabaya has been captured by Turkey. And it doesn't look like... Japan could try and retake it. They have a samurai in the area, they have a composite bowman, and they have a pikeman. They also have a catapult nearby, but it has quite a trek to go. I don't know, it's a crapshoot right now. For now, I'm going to say it's going to remain in Turkish hands. Ethiopia has made peace with the Philippines. Neither have exchanged territory. Manchester is once again safe from enemy attack. It also looks like Thailand has open borders with the United Kingdom. I don't believe these two are at war. Yeah. Because I feel like if they were at war, Fett would already be under British control. Anyway, St. Petersburg is down to the red with a melee unit in range. We might see Russia finally eliminated by American hands, no less. Damn! And just like that, Helm's Deep falls. Just like in the token stories, at least in the movie, they use gunpowder to get past the walls. Spoiler alert for a movie that's been out for what? 10, 12 years now? Ugh, it's been out so long. I feel old now. But the United States, they've used their Urukai Minutemen to break open the walls of St. Petersburg Deep, and they've managed to march in and conquer the last free city of Russia. Sorry. And just like that, the United States has another capital and another elimination under their belt. They're getting scarier and scarier by the moment. And the Congo, slowly but surely, again, this is off. I have these different phrases I'm using, and I hate overusing them. But there's no other way to describe it. It's like a snail's invasion. It's a slow crawl to Luango and Kavanga. It looks like the United States is steadily making inroads with their army, but it's just taking so long to move their units up and get them into position. Anyway, it looks like Turkey is actually slowly marching towards Jakarta. Yeah, because it definitely looks like Davao now with a whole bunch of samurai to the north. And how much iron does Japan have? Because that's a ridiculous amount of samurai. Anyway, it looks like Davao is well defended now. Leon's still well defended. Sao Paulo is taking a bit more damage. Again, more or less safe, unless the Congo gives it away in a peace deal. I don't see Napoleon taking the city with the technology that he has. Now, if he had Galileuses, or caravels, or trebuchets, or cannons, or anything else other than the units that he had now, he'd have a greater chance of taking the city. Artillery would be amazing, but as it is now, I don't see him taking it. Nothing really happens in Mexico like normal. Mexico is just enjoying the life of starting on Australia and moving through Indonesia. They have a very peaceful existence here. They've gone to war once, and it's because Thailand settled a city here. Oh, I guess, well, they also went to war with Germany. But, I mean, you can't really fault them for fighting Nazi Germany. I mean, they're Nazis. They deserve it. Alright, so it's going to be interesting to see, because that elimination might have actually put them over the tipping point, and if India declares war on the United States now, I feel like that's the one big thing that could ruin America's chances in this game, is if either Ethiopia or India, or both, decided they've had enough of Washington shit, and they decided to go gung-ho into Thebes and Memphis and Washington and St. Petersburg. Because the United States is powerful, but nobody's that powerful. Anyway, France and the Congo have made peace, and it seems like Napoleon heard what I said, and unfortunately the Congo hasn't given up any cities. I shouldn't say unfortunate. I should say, I try to remain unbiased. Now, the Congo has done a lot, but they haven't really, I guess they eliminated Brazil. That's fair. I was going to say, France took Rio de Janeiro, even though I didn't think they were going to do that, so they have my respect, but the Congo did kill another civilization. Almost forgot about that, so it should be a bit more unbiased. I apologize. Anyway, there's just a few tiffs here and there, a few skirmishes between Japan and the Philippines. It looks like Turkey is slowly moving up their military to either take a crack at Jakarta or Davao. Or maybe they're just consolidating their power over these cities, which wouldn't be a bad idea. On that note, Turkey not only controls an entire continent, if they managed to take Jakarta, they would control the entire Latin American world. Didn't peg, I'm pretty sure the Turks speak Turkish, but, Spanish, Portuguese, I could see them speaking that. All very similar. I hope I pissed off a few people by saying that. Anyway, Manchester is still fine. Ethiopia is looking for things to do now. Again, they're in a very strange position. Are they in, they're not at war with India, right? That's an open border? Yeah, okay. So India's sending their military somewhere. It looks like they're sending them over to Thailand. See here. A trireme has managed to get to the gates of Loango and blockade it, if only temporarily. Japan has denounced America, unsurprisingly, as they've eliminated quite a few civilizations. Let's see. Egypt, Pakistan, Russia. 3? 3 overall? Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of blood. And funny enough, again, all real-world nations that might have gripes with the United States and the current geopolitical climate. Getting political now. Looks like Turkey, yeah, more or less, is consolidating their power. They're kind of sending some feelers up to Davao to see if they could take the city. I don't like their chances. They're probably going to make peace soon. Meanwhile, France is sort of committing to their war against India. Sending their navy up to Vija here. Don't think they have chances of taking the city. Triremes have, 11 combat strength? This has a 38. It's basically a suicide mission, even attacking once. So trying to take down the whole city's health. Gonna prove fruitless for them. Let's see, the United States gets a knight at the gates of Loango, which is immediately killed. If there's one thing that the Congo has in spades, it is composite bowmen. If there's one thing people on horseback don't like, it is archers. Skilled archers, mind you. I mean, a shitty archer doesn't really mean much to somebody on horseback because they're just going to keep missing. Alright. It's more or less the quiet period now. We're waiting for a big civilization to make a move. It looks like Mexico and Thailand have made peace, neither of which has exchanged territory, which is good. Don't think either could take any city. It looks like Mexico is kind of gearing up to make a push for Fett, but because they haven't done any damage to it in quite a while, Thailand didn't see the need to give it away in a peace deal. Anyway, France has Ushakov, that famous French great admiral, completely undefended, fighting the Indian Navy, while a French trireme tries to attack them from behind. Don't like his odds of getting out of there alive. Turkey is actually still sending their forces up to Deveo. Don't think they're going to take the city. At this point, they're just banging their heads against rocks. So the interesting thing that we should be looking out for now is not the civilizations that are at war, but the civilizations that are adjacent to those at war. Because, again, the way that the way conquest works in these AI games, in Civilization in general, but much more pronounced in these AI games where you don't have a rational, thinking human being behind the helm, is you have to watch out for these powers who, basically, they expend their militaries going off in some foreign war, trying to conquer things, and meanwhile their neighbors just kind of build up these little huge compartmentalized militaries, and eventually the huge power is going to overextend. They're going to weaken themselves, and it's going to allow these little condensed powers to kind of burst forth and scoop up a couple of cities, which is going to weaken them, and it's going to strengthen the smaller one. And in some cases, like what happened with Nigeria, you just get eaten up entirely in a single go. Speaking of which, Japan is making another go at Manila. Still don't like their chances. Especially since they still don't have any siege units. And they heard me and made peace. Again, really the best thing for them. And it's sad to kind of see the Philippines reduced to 3 cities, given that they used to control the majority of North America. Japan made sure to rectify that. United States and the Congo are still kind of trading blows. Luango actually takes a bit of damage from the Minutemen, who have now officially joined the fray. And India and France have made peace. Again, neither exchanging territory because they can't really get to one another at this point. They have to wait for their navies to be upgraded just a little more. And this is another frustrating thing. Speaking of upgraded navies, Thailand has upgraded their navies quite a bit. They're still not using them. They're still at war with Mexico. They're still at war with India. They could deploy these anywhere. But they're choosing not to. Oh, I guess they're not... Sorry, they're not at war with Mexico anymore. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm forgetting the peace and remembering the war. United States does a tiny bit more damage to Luango. Japan and the Congo make peace. No one exchanges territory. The Minutemen, who are at the gates of Luango and Kabanga, have taken quite a significant amount of damage. Chances are we're going to see them die on the next turn. Looks like the United States is building trebuchets and getting them revved up to go to the south. I feel like they're going to need cannons or artillery before they can actually take these. Or at least something, again. So the next upgrade we're going to be looking for is caravels. Because caravels is a huge melee upgrade for the ships. You know what? Even the... if you want to go one step further than that, the first civilization who reaches, not battleships. What's the one that comes before that? Oh, it's been ages since I played Civ 5 myself, and I'm tired. But the first civilization to reach, it's not the ship of the line. What is it? Help. You guys are gonna yell at me. You'd be like, hey, Minutemen, nah, privateer, ship of the line. Where is the... Replaces the frigate. Thank you. That's the frigate. So the frigate is the next unit that we're going to be on the lookout for. Because that is a significant naval upgrade. And these civilizations that have Galileuses right now, they're in the running to become huge naval powers. And that's what you really want, is the AI kind of sucks with Navy, but as long as they reach a Navy, like a powerful Navy, before any of the other civilizations, you're going to see these nations rise up. Let's see, are they going to make a crack at Jakarta? They have some ranged units now as a part of their Navy. Head over here, see what's happening over here. Luongo still hasn't taken a significant amount of damage. It's actually steadily going up, and it's because they have all of these composite bowmen defending them, in addition to Galileus's. Again, I don't think the United States... Right now, these two, they don't have enough power projection. Sorry, I'm slurring my words. Again, tired. To managed to take one another, and the United States is actually very bare over here. St. Petersburg might be an impenetrable fortress, but I still wouldn't like those odds between Ethiopia and Thailand, all kind of revved up on the border like that. If Ethiopia strikes now, they might be able to do a significant amount of damage to the United States before they can pivot their army to the east. And if they do pivot their army to the east, then they're just opening themselves up to a counterattack by the Congo. Maybe that's what the Congo's doing. Maybe that's why they're holding back their navy. They're just kind of waiting patiently for somebody else to get involved, to open up a second front against the American Empire. Again, nothing's really happening here. Manchester is nice and fine now. Again, the United Kingdom, given their starting zone, they're doing pretty well. So far, I don't think anyone's discovered our nuclear submarine. We're hidden pretty well. Alright. Let's see if Turkey can do any more damage to Japan. I doubt it, but you never know. Jakarta is now surrounded by ranged naval units. I don't think the Galileos here are going to be able to reach Jakarta. The United States is sending a huge force down to the south. And who has made a research agreement? Let's see what alliances are cooking up. Ethiopia and the United Kingdom. Two of the relatively weaker civilizations kind of teaming up. That's smart. Leaving China out of it, though. I just noticed China's... like the population of Beijing is ridiculous, just like real life. On top of that as well, Addis Ababa. Is Beijing the highest pop city in the world? With 30 population, that is a ridiculously large city. 26, there was a 29 over there. Oh, 32 for Hanoi. Which is right on the coast. It's a very pretty city. Alright. Let's see what happens now. There's crossbowmen surrounding the area. Oh, it looks like the Congo has gotten a crossbowman as well, which sucks for the United States because there goes their technological advantage. And Gandhi has made peace with Thailand, neither of which has exchanged territory. This is a sad thing, when you see all these wars breaking out and they go nowhere, because it just feels like it's wasting everybody's time. Fortunately, Jakarta has started to take damage, and Davao is slowly being surrounded by Turkish forces. Don't think they're going to be able to take Davao just because with all these melee units nearby, as well as the Japanese Navy coming in. Jakarta, on the other hand, if they really commit with all of these units, they might actually be able to take Jakarta. Second one, look around. Oh, Los Angeles was founded over here. The Angels, the City of Angels. The Los Angeles Angels. The Angels. There's still a huge war going on here. This front isn't going to move. This line right here is actually very firm. It's wide, and it's open, and it's long. It's like the Canadian-American border. It's open, and it's undefended. Not really undefended at this point. But for its size, it's a very, very firm line in the sand. Looks like Ethiopia is trading with the United States, which is good for the US because as long as they have positive ties, it means that Ethiopia is less likely to backstab them. Jakarta is back up to full. And it looks like the Japanese Navy is slowly moving south to try and retake Surabaya and Abuja. We're still both one-pop cities, which means they're easily taken. More easily taken than they would be. And the Congo has successfully defended themselves from the United States. It looks like they've pushed the United States back to Iberia here. And whether or not they're going to continue pushing to see if they can take Karachi or Elephantine is another matter. Again, all India needs to do, the only thing separating India from greatness, is a declaration of war against the United States. Or against the Congo, if they really want to kind of pivot. Here, I'll use my pointer. Pivot to the west here and attack Kabasa. I feel like the Congo is more heavily defended than a lot of these American holdings. I mean, sure, they have knights here and they have a couple of triremes, but I mean, you just plow past these and go for Thebes. They could go for the gullet. Alright, the United States has completed another wonder, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Hopefully, it can't be constructed in Italy because they don't have any cities there. I'm upset now. Ugh, slow periods are always brutal. The United States has finally gotten the Galileases. Will that make a difference in this war against the Congo? Probably not, because the Congo has more Galileases. The fact that these two cities are so close together, by the way, makes them almost impregnable from this angle. They have to go through the land route, because if they're going through the sea route, they're just going to be bombarded by both cities. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Congo actually has a very defensible lineup right here. And they have a very defensible southern line. I would actually say their most exposed point is if Turkey decides to declare war on the Congo and goes right for their capital. Because, as you guys can see here, they have all of these forces here, but once their forces are depleted, they don't have any real geographical boundaries preventing the city from being taken. That being said, it does have a 42 combat rating, which is pretty damn high. As high as Karachi's 44. Jesus, that city is a fortress. And 46 for Washington. Holy shit. I know where Washington's been focusing his efforts when it's not on units. It's on walls. Again, it really is Donald Trump leading the United States, because, I mean, he attacked all the Muslim-majority countries nearby. He attacked Russia because people accused him of being a part of Russia. And now he's building a shitload of walls around America to keep America great. Anyway, speaking of keeping countries great, horrible segue. The Ottomans, the Turks, have gotten to the Janissary, which I believe is a gunpowder replacement, which means that they've also gotten the gunpowder. And I believe they're good at melee, and they're just stronger than normal. Hang on, let's see. Janissary. Nope. I misspelled that. What? I didn't think I put two S's. Oh my god, alright. Where is... What's going on here? Oh my god. What did I hit? Wait, we don't need that up. Alright, I think I accidentally hit next turn screwing around. Sorry about that, guys. But we're at turn 288 now. And the United Kingdom has made peace with the Philippines, neither exchanging cities. I'm actually surprised they didn't give away Manchester in the peace deal. Ugh, this is border gore. This is awful. Japan being split up by two different civilizations like that as well. Not like North and South. It's like, okay, we'll take this, and we'll take this here, and then you get the rest of this, and then no one takes that. Anyway, Mexico and the United Kingdom have both declared war on Nazi Germany. And this isn't good, actually, for Berlin, because Mexico has a huge navy here, made of range units, so they can attack from a distance relatively safely. Taking another look around, the United States is still pushing towards the Congo. It looks like they managed to get a little push in. The Congo manages to push them back a little. And they just kind of go back and forth like this, really just weakening each other, because they, even though they have this huge navy here in the west, look at their eastern holdings. They're so bare. I'm surprised that no one's just taken the opportunity to jump on them, and I think it's because right now their statistics say that they're the most powerful military in the world. Bar maybe the Turks, who are actually looking fiercer and fiercer by the moment. Or the Japanese, who have way more samurai than you'd think they ever would need. I would not want to be the Philippines right now. Anyway, let's head over to Berlin, where a new theater of war has opened up. I'm actually surprised that Mexico didn't do more damage than what they did. In fact, it looks like Germany actually started pushing towards Munich. And Germany has denounced America. See, you know you're an asshole when Adolf Hitler himself is saying that guy is an asshole. Because if there's anyone who can't criticize other people for being assholes, it's Adolf Hitler. And when he has the moral high ground on you, you know you fucked up. Anyway, it looks like Japan is sending a whole shitload. They have a massive army now. And they're really using it to protect all of their holdings. They don't want to lose any further cities to the Turks. It's going to be interesting. Who do you think would fight, or who do you think would win in a real-life fight? The Janissary or the Samurai? My money's on the Janissary, just because, again, I'm pretty sure they have gunpowder. And as impressive as the Samurai swords might be, a katana isn't really a match for a musket. I'm pretty sure that's what opened the Japanese up to the West, as they were kind of this cloistered empire. And the United States came in with a whole bunch of European powers, and they said, okay, you're going to start trading with us, you're going to open yourselves up to the world, or we're going to, like, fucking blow your brains out. Shitty history. I feel like that could be a channel in and of itself. I've had that idea before, just to, like, half-assing history and just passing it off as complete fact. And just waiting to see how long it takes for people to catch on that it's all just bullshit. Sounds like a good series. Berlin is actually depleting their own units by intentionally sending them into Mexican territory. Meanwhile, Mexico is sending up its very fearsome navy to attack Berlin. This might actually be the fall of Germany, and I think I speak for everybody when I say thank God. Because Germany is another one-pop city that's not going to make it back in this game. It's also run by Adolf Hitler, and, nobody likes the Nazis. Fuck the Nazis. If there's one group you're allowed to hate on, it's the Nazis. It's looking like, the Congo is slowly but surely, and this is the third time I've used that goddamn term, I apologize, but they're slowly depleting their forces here. They're looking a lot more spread out than they were at the start of this episode. Now, whether or not the U.S. has the production to continue pushing on the Congo like this is another matter, but they're certainly making an effect on their southern neighbor. Meanwhile, the armies of Japan and Turkey meet up once more, Japan having a numerical advantage for now. Gonna head back over to Berlin, where I'm sure things are about to go down. Shit's about to happen. Mexico is certainly taking their sweet, sweet time going in for the kill. Oh, and Thailand declares war on China, which we sort of saw coming at some point, I'm not going to lie. Out of all the wars that have happened in this game so far, that one's probably the most predictable, just because they share this huge border here, and China's just... they're weak. They've gone to war with Thailand before, and they gave away Yan'an, and then the United Kingdom took Yan'an, and now China basically has this one holding they took from the United Kingdom and their capital. Not a good spot to be in. On that note, it looks like the Congos once again pushed the United States back, thanks in no small part to their own Galileos being able to shoot the American units from a distance. There's just a clusterfuck of Japanese and Turkish units here. The Turks and the Japanese, ancient enemies, as we all know. Alright, which one do you think is going to fall first now? Because Thailand certainly has a more powerful military compared to Mexico. Mexico's taken their sweet time attacking Berlin. That being said, I don't know. Beijing is a bit more exposed. That being said, 40 combat strength. It's a crapshoot. I'm actually going to put my money on China falling first. Anyway, Haile Selassie has completed the Globe Theater. Even though Ethiopia is not the most powerful empire in the world, it has the arts. Which isn't really going to help much when the Americans come a-knocking. Something, peace versus war. It's nice to be peaceful, but in the real world, the warmongers win. It's a sad but true fact. Now I'm depressing myself. Offer one hand, arm the other. And speak softly, carry a big stick, all that jazz. Anyway, if I were Japan right now, I would just keep the bare minimum forces down here and try to make a push for Manila before the Philippines builds up their military a bit more. Because it certainly looks like, now that they have siege units here, it certainly looks like if they really pushed for Manila now, they might actually be able to take the city. Berlin still hasn't taken any damage. Thailand is slowly enveloping Beijing. Slowly but surely. You see the joke I'm making there, guys? I really want the United Kingdom to declare war on China and to scoop up Beijing and Birmingham. Hashtag retake Birmingham. British Fest Destiny. Oh, God, that sounded awful. Any day now, Mexico. Any day now. Anyway, China is sending their composite bowmen to hold off the Thai military. The United States still can't make any headway in their war against the Congo. It's really just to, again, very firm line. I was gonna make a comment. I was gonna say girls would kill for firmness like that. That was awful. I had to make that. It's, you know when you have a terrible joke, and it's like, man, that is so terrible I can't tell it? What happens in my mind is I hear a terrible joke, I go, that's awful, and then I just have to share that terrible joke. It's like, man, I've had this horrible thought. You gotta hear it. It's like tasting something bad. You want somebody else to taste it, or smell it, or do something. You don't want to be the only one suffering. Misery loves company, I guess is the point of what I'm trying to get to. Anyway, Philippines makes peace with Mexico. Nothing is traded away. Philippines makes peace with India. And as we can see, India is still fine, so nothing happens either. 2 fruitless wars come to an end. And we're going to keep our eye on the actual wars going on. So here's Beijing up here, Berlin down there. We got them both in the same shot. Let's see if there's any progress made in either of them. Thailand also now has crossbowmen. I'm not sure if you guys noticed. But again, that is it's a pretty good technological advancement. Berlin still hasn't taken any goddamn damage. Alright. We got a golden age started. And India has declared war on Germany. And more interestingly, India has declared war on the Congo. So, India has made a decision here. And it might actually be a decisive decision as to who actually wins this game. They've also managed to get to musketmen. I believe they're the third civilization to reach that point. Meanwhile, Germany's made peace with Ethiopia. Obviously, Germany can't give away units. Or, not units. Can't give away cities since they just have their capital. But by choosing to attack the Congo, instead of attacking the United States, they may have actually allowed for a second front to open up, an even greater front than what France had started with Sao Paulo, because India is the only civilization in the world that actually has full access to the heartlands of the Congo, and if they manage to march their entire military in here and attack Kabasa, it might be just enough of a diversion for the United States to march on down and take Luango and Kavanga. So by attacking the Congo instead of attacking the United States, they might have... India might have actually sealed this as an American victory. Interesting times ahead. Another term that I keep using, and I hate myself for using because I don't even like that term. I don't use it outside of these videos, and it drives me nuts. Alright, you know what? We're going to keep our focus on Kabasa here. I feel like there's just going to be a bloodbath happening between Delhi and Kabasa. That being said, India has musketmen. Meanwhile, the Congo is still using swordsmen, warriors, and pikemen. Not too much of a discrepancy. It's not like they're carrying riflemen around, which have 34 strength. But still, it's a large enough advantage that the Congo is certainly fighting a losing battle here, just from the get-go. And the United States isn't doing what they should be doing now, which is committing to attacking Luango and Kavanga. Instead, it looks like they're kind of slowly pulling back their forces. They're doing this thing where they're like easing into a peace, which is the exact opposite of what they should be doing. Anyway, Beijing is almost completely surrounded by the Thai military now. Birmingham is completely undefended, more or less. If the United Kingdom declared war now, they could probably start taking down Beijing and attacking Birmingham. Probably take Birmingham before China's able to mount a defense. Let's see if Berlin or Beijing take damage. There's a trebuchet in range of Beijing as well. And amazingly, they haven't attacked that yet. I guess they're trying to clear out the military completely. Oh my god, is it turn 300 already? But we're just getting started. There's an awful lot of white on the left side of the screen. I just noticed that. Anyway, so Mexico is bringing in trebuchets through the water. They're borrowing this technique from Turkey. And again, I want to criticize that, but it's been effective so far somehow. Japan is looking very powerful right now. Being kicked here and being kicked around by Turkey has really kicked them into high gear. The Congo could be better off, but India is slowly progressing their military towards Kabasa, and the United States is backing off. They can't back off. They should be pushing as hard and as strong as they can. They probably sense something happening with Ethiopia, because they're just like, oh man, all of our cities here are undefended. They really need to hold off Ethiopia. Beijing is being surrounded by Thailand. Mexico, again, is attacking Beijing, or not Beijing, Berlin. France is enjoying times of peace. It looks like they also have open borders with India. They've also gotten to musketeers. So they're the fourth civilization we've seen that has reached gunpowder. In fact, I think this is the second turn that they've had, or first or second turn that they've gotten it, because there's only 2 units. And Turkey is still looking massive. Anyway, so we're going to head to the info attic to end off the episode as usual. Population-wise, the Ottomans are currently number 1 for population, having a dominating lead over the second-place Americans. Crop yield, the United States has the highest amount of crop. It's kind of teetered back and forth between Turkey and the United States. Manufactured goods, the United States still has the largest production of any civilization in the world, followed by Turkey and Thailand. The gross national products of the largest economy in the world, by and far, is the United States, followed by Turkey and Japan, no less. Land area, even though Turkey controls an entire continent here, and even though Japan controls pretty much most of North America, the United States controlling an empire from Great Britain to the Ural Mountains, from Scandinavia down to the Middle East, is by far the largest empire in the world by quite a margin. I'm actually surprised that Siam is lower on the map than it is now. Just looking at the map here with all that yellow there, I'm surprised that they're in 4th place overall, just barely to Japan. Anyway, military manpower. This is where it matters. The United States still has a commanding lead in the Western world. Turkey takes the top place in the America Eastern world. Turkey Western world. Get my directions mixed up. Meanwhile, Thailand comes in 3rd place, and all the way down here, right before our little ship, is Germany and China, the 2 civilizations currently facing elimination, it seems, next, if things go right, the next episode. Let's see what else. Technologies. The United States is currently in the lead for technologies, followed closely by Ethiopia and by India. In fact, everybody's kind of bunched together closely. I would say anything lower than 30 techs right now is certainly in trouble. France, Germany, the Philippines, Japan, Great Britain. All of these civilizations are currently at risk. I'm actually surprised that Ethiopia has the 2nd highest overall, especially since I guess Turkey has conquered so many nations that the Great Library boost and all their earlier boosts, they don't really have as much effect as the civilization that's only ever had 2 cities. Speaking of which, cities, the United States and the Ottomans both control 10 cities, followed closely by Mexico with 9. Let's see, tourism. Mexico, despite all the American wonders, Mexico takes the top place for tourism. Here are all the wars currently going on. And, of course, just to finish off the episode, we're going to head to world religions. And these are the world religions right now. Itan, which was settled in Nigeria, controls a total of 7 cities. Oriental Orthodoxy, which we surmised was going to control pretty much all of the old world, being settled in Ethiopia there and having no immediate competition in Europe or in Africa or in Western Asia, was going to dominate the world. As we've seen here, it is currently doing that with 20 cities, though Catholicism surprisingly has 14, having spread throughout the Pacific, having spread up through Southeast Asia and into parts of North America as well. And poor Shaivism, which is settled in Jakarta, just has this one city here. Ugh, poor Shaivism. Anyway, so that's going to be it for today. Bit of a slow episode. We did still get 1 elimination, and if things go right next episode, we might get 2 or 3, depending on how things play out for the Congo or the United States. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.